Hey guys, it's Cam from Craft and Tailored, and in this week's episode of What Is on My Wrist, we are talking about a Zodiac Sea Wolf. In fact, this is the Zodiac Sea Wolf 53, what they're calling the Skin. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, but it's the Skin Blue. So it's a Zodiac Super Sea Wolf 53 Skin Blue, and obviously it is blue because it has a blue dial and it has a blue bezel. So anyways, we are huge fans of Zodiac watches here at Craft and Tailored. Matter of fact, my cousin Tyler, who sometimes is featured on our Instagram and has his own loyal fan base, is a big Zodiac collector. So he also could be the Zodiac killer. I'm not really sure, but he's kind of a weird dude. So it's kind of fitting that he likes Zodiac watches. Just kidding. We're real big fans of Zodiac watches here at Craft and Tailored, and Tyler actually has a pretty impressive vintage Zodiac collection. We natively are fans of what Zodiac is doing with a lot of the new watches, and Hodinkee did an exclusive with them recently with the Zodiac 53, and they did a blue version. So when this came out, we had to have it, so we got one, and Tyler and I are kind of sharing, I guess, some joint custody over the watch. But I figured it would be kind of a cool way and time to feature a watch that is from a brand that both Tyler and I really like. We've had a lot of vintage Zodiacs come in and out of our shop, so really cool brand. And when Hodinkee did this exclusive blue version, we got one. We ordered one, and it's a really cool watch with some interesting features, and wanted to take a moment to talk about Zodiac watches, but also the Zodiac brand as a whole. I like what they're doing with some of the modern watches, and this was a watch that we kind of fell in love with, and we, I guess, kind of bought it as like a house watch, so to speak. So let's dive into the details, shall we? Huh? How many times is that joke not gonna be funny? So when it comes to under the radar vintage watch companies, I think that Zodiac should be one of the first brands to kind of come to mind. Zodiac made several sports models in the 50s and in the 60s, and were direct competitors actually to Rolex, Blancpain, and Tudor, but really were often looked over as they didn't receive the same clout as the aforementioned companies. However, this is kind of to the advantage of the collectors that enjoy the Zodiac range of watches, because there are some really cool details and features and kind of some historical elements to the brand, much like Rolex, Tudor, and Blancpain, from the similar era out of the late 1950s into the 1960s, but the price point is a lot different, obviously. So the Sea Wolf was first introduced in 1953. Matter of fact, that was the same year as the Rolex Sub. So again, Zodiac and Rolex and Tudor and kind of these watches out of the era, they were really pushing kind of the design and development, and Zodiac was basically right in the mix with those companies in that era and time, which makes them, I think, very relevant, but also worthy of collecting, and you'll definitely see that from a design perspective in the watches themselves. So the Sea Wolf was first introduced in 1953, and it was one of the first diving sports watch marketed for the general public, and it performed really well for the brand. So in that era and time, diving from a recreational perspective was becoming more and more popular, and that technology was becoming more readily available. So these watches, being tools, were definitely marketed in that way. And the brand did a really good job of that in the late 1950s, early 1960s to market kind of to the prosumer, so to speak. So one of the cool things that I've always liked about Zodiacs, and specifically the Sea Wolf range, is that there's some really interesting and kind of colorful combinations that you'll see with the brand. And that's why I think we really ultimately kind of gravitated towards the Super Sea Wolf 53 in blue. Typically with the brand, you'll see like these really bright and vibrant colors to the bezel and or the dial and or the hands and things like that. And so I think that is kind of one of the unique features. They were pushing kind of the design elements to be highly visible with those colors. And I think that it's really cool to see that kind of now in the modern range of watches. Today's What's on My Wrist is brought to you by Verve Coffee, the preferred choice of caffeine addiction, by our founder and CEO, Cameron Barr, currently here at Craft and Tailored. It's delicious. I'm going iced today. So the Super Sea Wolf has, and especially the 53, has kind of a, I guess a little bit more of a classic dive watch look. We don't have any crown guards. We've got kind of this cool, I guess you could almost call it like a toadstool or like a mushroom shaped kind of crown, which is reminiscent of the Zodiac models and the Sea Wolves from the early to mid 1950s. The other thing that's really cool is that we've got, I guess what we would, it's not really a Bakelite bezel, but it could be ceramic. It could actually be a sapphire bezel. But in any case, a lot of the old Zodiacs came with like this Bakelite type of bezel, and they're really, really cool. You know, that's one of the things that I really like in vintage dive watches. I like that Bakelite or that kind of like clear acrylic bezel, which I think is very cool. You'll see that in obviously like the Omega Seamaster range and the Blancpain. So it was kind of a design feature that we'd see out of these watches from the mid 1950s into the 1960s before they kind of went over to that more anodized aluminum type of insert for the bezel. The other cool thing about the watch is the bezel is kind of like coin edged. So if we look at the bezel, it's not what they would call like a volute or like flange type of bezel. It's very much like a coin edge. There's a nice click. It is bidirectional. Or wait, sorry, not bidirectional, unidirectional, sorry. Is it unidirectional or bidirectional? Unidirectional. Yeah, uni, cycle, bicycle, 2, tricycle, 3. It is a unidirectional bezel, which is really cool. The early Zodiacs would be a bidirectional bezel, same thing with like, you know, the Blancpains and the Rolex Submariners out of that era. So a little bit of a modern upgrade there while still kind of retaining some classic details and kind of lines. The bracelet is like an oyster style bracelet without rivets, but it kind of has like this cool, I guess vintage-esque type of feel while being modern. Same thing with the crown. It is locking, whereas like the early Zodiacs didn't have locking crowns. They were just push-pull on the crowns. And then the other thing that's kind of cool is it has like this flip-lock style bracelet. The closure is really cool. So basically the Zodiac symbol here kind of fits into the middle of that bracelet. And it kind of is like this like hollow, like opening to the clasp. The other cool thing too is that the bracelet actually does incorporate a stretch link. So there's 2 stretch links here, which is kind of similar to like the old like oyster rivet stretch bracelets, which I think is actually kind of cool from like a comfortability kind of, I guess, perspective. So no diver's extension in the watch. It does have kind of this stretch vintage style bracelet. I really like the design of the bracelet, and I think it's very well made overall. The reference number itself is actually Z09211. So Z09211. The diameter of the watch is 40 millimeters, and it's 13 millimeters thick. So it's not an oversized watch, which is one of the things that I like about what Zodiac is doing with the watches that they're releasing. They're making them size appropriate, right? It's not a small watch, but it's modern in terms of its, you know, kind of, I guess, presence on the wrist. Straight lugs, which are really nice, 20 millimeter lug width. This watch would look great on a strap, just as it would with the bracelet. I really like the blue coloration in the dial. The bezel kind of has like this nice soft kind of blue hue, as does the dial. But what's nice about the dial is there is like a radial type of finishing on the dial that does kind of kick out some light. The other really unique feature about the watch is that the luminous material at the 12, 3, 6, 9 are actually red. So if you hit the watch with ultraviolet light, it'll glow blue. But then when it holds its charge, it is actually a red coloration, which I think is really, really cool. So I guess it's like an orange or red super luminova, which is like really, really cool. Water resistance on this guy is 200 meters, so you could take this guy in the pool. You could actually take it diving. The caliber of movement is an STP 3-13 automatic movement. What's cool and interesting about Zodiac is they are actually part of the Fossil group. So the STP 3-13 is a movement that is made under the Fossil group in Switzerland, which I think is very cool. I like that, you know, Fossil, we think of Fossil as kind of this watch company that is sold in whatever store, and they're kind of more on the consumable side, but there is a side of Fossil that, you know, ultimately does come within the Fossil Group's, I guess, as the parent company to Zodiac, and the movement is a nice robust movement. I believe the power reserve on this is 44 hours, so it's a really nice automatic, you know, self-winding movement, you know, no fuss, no muss, just, you know, time only watch. Really, really cool. So on the wrist, I like the way that the watch wears. I'm into the bracelet. So one cool thing, and one of my biggest gripes with a lot of like modern watch companies is like the packaging is just insane. There's so much stuff. There's like this massive box. You don't, where are you gonna put it? The Zodiac packaging is actually pretty nice and kind of just straightforward. It's like a little box. Inside the box, we have another box, and inside that box we have another box. I'm just kidding. Nice little like pull out here for like your instruction manual and stuff like that. And just kind of a nice, no fuss box. Just, you know, I mean, hang tag. Here's our extra links. I sized it. So again, this is a personal watch. We're wearing it, and just like a little nice pillow. So kind of a nice box, honestly. You know, again, one of my biggest gripes is that the watch companies, I think, are in some cases like trying to like really like push the boundaries of what you get in the box. And I'm just like, what am I gonna do with all this stuff? Here's the instruction manual, just in case you guys wanted to see that. It fits in like this nice little tray. So really nice, just kind of like basic presentation. I actually like and appreciate that. So kind of cool from that perspective. So that's kind of the unboxing, as the internet people call it. I've never gotten really much into the unboxing videos, but I don't know, for some reason you guys like it. Like, take the box out of the other box. Let's get some ASMR. David, are you getting this? This ASMR. Let's like put this ASMR.
It's unboxing. ASMR unboxing. This in your box. This other box. You should be feeling some weird sensations right now. You might be slightly turned on. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Put this box into the box.
Just kidding. And that's it. That's all I got. Out of here. You know what? Taking this watch. You, Nick. You, David. Getting out of here. Gone. What don't I like about the watch? I think that there isn't much that I don't like about the watch. I think the bracelet could have been a little bit better designed. There's actually some like movement and stretch in the bracelet. And granted, I know that that is, you know, like there's some movement here in the mid link. I think that that could have been done a little bit nicer. But you know, what's great about the watch is that it's a $1,200 watch, and this watch does pack a lot of bang for its buck. I don't really think there's much that I don't like about the watch, outside of just maybe a little bit of kind of like flimsiness in a bracelet. I think that could have been done a little bit better, especially with kind of today's like modern watchmaking capability. It's a solid link bracelet too. Outside of that, I do like this clasp. I think that it's kind of interesting, and the stretch link is cool too. So if you want one of these, you can actually get them from Hodinkee. I'll provide a link in the description below. Hi Ben, hi Kara, hi Steven, hi everyone over at Hodinkee. Yeah, be sure to check these guys out, and also Zodiac watches in general. Again, we're big fans of the brand, and we really love what has come from the brand from a modern perspective. I think it's a good blend of modern meets vintage and kind of that classic styling. So I've missed actually a couple of limited edition watches that they've released that I wish that I had you know, bought sooner, because they've, you know, sold out, especially what they're calling like the creamsicle GMT. Really cool watch. So in any case, guys, I'll provide a link in the description below. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, check us out on Instagram at @CraftedTailored. And if you've got watch questions, we're here and happy to help. Drop us a line at info@CraftedTailored. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.